How are you doing? Now, everyone is talking about EVs, charging station, lithium ion. But what if I told you that there is a quiet revolution happening in the continent, right? It doesn't need you to own a battery at all. A battery as a service. Could it be Africa's greatest secret? That's what we want to talk about this week. See you in a minute. Hey, welcome. How are you doing? My name is Tony. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewable in Africa. What we do is pretty simple. We raise awareness about renewables energy in Africa, but across the world. So if you're interested to expand into Africa, we are your eco to this market and we can help with visibility, with lead, but also sales. Or if you say you want to decarbonize, don't worry, we again at your eco sustainable pathway, and we can help you with carbon footprint assessment and carbon reduction strategy. So today I want to talk about battery as a service, BaaS, right? Because I believe that it might be actually Africa's most brilliant leapfrog moment in clean energy and transport. So let's talk about the Africa booming electric mobility sector, right? That's one that might actually there's one thing that actually may make or break it, and this is the battery, or more precisely, not owning one. So does it sound crazy? Stick with me. The EV surge is real, but so far the barrier at the bottleneck. So if you look at across cities, Nairobi, Kampala, Lagos, electric vehicle, especially two or three wheelers, they popping up fast, right? But there is a catch. The battery makes up about 30% or 50% of an EV total cost, according to International Energy Agency. So what does that mean? It means that for many border riders, delivery fleet operators, the upfront cost, it's a deal breaker. So even when they want to go electric, the battery is just too expensive. That's a fact. So this is where we actually have the battery as a service of BaaS. Now, imagine that instead. You have a rider paying a daily or weekly fee and getting access to a fully charged battery at any times. Not charging downtime, not ownership hassles, just swap and go. That's battery as a service, and it's a turning point, in the EV. It definitely turned the model upside down. So think of something like M-Pesa meeting energy storage. Simple, right? Accessible, mobile first. That's what we're talking about here. We was talking about the real world impact, the faster adoption, predictable cost. So here is where it gets exciting, particularly. So BaaS, motor riders, they avoid 1 to 2 hours charging delays. That usually kill productivity. They just swap at the station in just under 2 minutes, just like in Formula One. Yeah. So, and driver pay only what they use, turning battery costs into a manageable operating expenses. Yeah, fleet operators get more predictable energy bills. A key incentive, for scaling EV adoption. So company like I would say Spiro, obviously Ampersand, and what was the name again? El Motors in Benin. They've shown how things work. You know, they say, for example, a rider saves 35% energy costs, versus petrol, and they're doubling the fleet yearly. So, but I gotta be honest with you as well, right? So, climate solution that only work for the wealthy, it's not going to move Africa forward. We all know that, right? And that's for me remove the entry barrier for the very people who move our cities, the border riders, the informal courier, the women-led micro fleet. It turns EV into a luxury to a tool of economic empowerment. And it's not just a tech fix, it's also an ecosystem shift. From BaaS to thrive, we need more than batteries. We need smart leasing platform. We need mobile payment integration. We need battery tracking system and also swapping station network. And what is the good news? There is a good news, is that the pieces are already coming together, with support from Development Bank, Climate Fund, and African innovators on the ground. Yeah. So the takeaway for you is you don't need to own a battery to benefit from clean transport. In fact, not only one might be actually the smartest move. And if Africa embraces battery as a service, I believe we could leapfrog into a more inclusive, electrified mobility future, without having for us to wait decades, for the old model to work. So, what do you think? Would you rather own a battery or just pay for the power? You decide. Let me know, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share people that you know. Take care.